If you are involved or potentially could be involved in any sort of legal matter, whether it's a civil matter or a criminal matter, an apology can ruin your case. There is a reason the cops tell you that when you are arrested, you have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. That not only pertains to a criminal situation, it pertains to a civil situation as well. If somebody is injured in your property, or if you're in a car accident and you say, "I'm sorry," whether it's your fault or not, because sometimes it's a natural human nature just to apologize for something, just by mere fact that an accident happened. But once you say the words, "I'm sorry," that can be construed as an admission of guilt or fault. And I'll explain to you how saying sorry or not sorry, it can be used against you either way. By now you all heard about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars, right? And Will Smith has now issued an apology, and he posted it on Instagram. And the apology reads, "Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job. But a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line, and I was wrong. I am embarrassed, and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress. Sincerely, Will." Now, it is unlikely that that apology will come back to bite Will Smith in the ass, because it is unlikely he will be arrested, and it is unlikely that Chris Rock is going to press charges, because as I've stated in my previous videos, you need three things. You need somebody to be at fault, which you have. You need somebody to pay for the injury caused by someone else's fault, which you have Will Smith money. He'll be able to pay whether insurance is applicable or not. And you need an injury, and it does not appear that Chris Rock was injured as a result of being slapped by Will Smith at the Oscars. So in Will Smith's situation, most likely the apology was the right thing, because the Academy indicated they're going to conduct some sort of a probe, an investigation. I don't know what there is to probe or investigate. Everybody saw what happened. Will Smith admitted to what happened. So there is really nothing for them to look into. But if you're not Will Smith and you're you, when you get involved in a situation, should you apologize? Should you apologize? Right? And most people would say yes. Most people say, "Oh, it's a nice thing to do," especially if you're at fault. Right? I'm telling you, especially if you're at fault, you may want to rethink whether you're apologizing. Look at O.J. Simpson. He kept his mouth shut, never admitted to anything, and he was acquitted. So, there's something to be said for keeping your mouth shut and letting your attorneys handle things. So if you're in a car accident and somebody hits you and you get out of the car, natural implication is to say, "Oh, I'm sorry," even if it's not your fault. That's a human thing to do. If somebody trips on your property, you say, "Oh, are you okay? I'm sorry." Again, it's a human thing to do. But by saying that, at some point the person is going to be asked, what did the person say when the accident occurred? And say, "Well, they said, I'm sorry." They said they're sorry. That's going to come up and bite you again and again and again at the time of trial, at your deposition, at any point during the course of the litigation. So it's better not to say anything. But if you don't say anything, this is what happens. When I'm trying a case on behalf of somebody who is injured, whether it's a car accident, a fall, whatever it is, a medical malpractice case, one of the things we say to the jury is, look at what happened. They come up here and they deny responsibility. They deny it happened. They say if the person was injured, the injuries are not related to the incident. And no one even bothered to say, I'm sorry. No one bothered to say, I'm sorry. And sometimes that is very powerful when you make that argument to a jury, because the insurance companies, the attorneys, and if the clients do what they're supposed to do, they keep their mouth shut. Right? So everybody's deny. Even if I'm at fault, they weren't injured, and even if they were injured, the injuries are not related to the accident. And on top of that, nobody can even have the decency to say, I'm sorry. But you know what? It's better to not say you're sorry and not have it used against you. Because once you say you're sorry, the attorneys are going to argue, well, listen, they knew it was their fault, because at the accident scene, the first thing that the defendant said was, I'm sorry. Right? When somebody fell at their house, it had to be their fault because they apologized for the accident. So they must have known that they have some responsibility about what happened. So I'm sorry may be the kind and human thing to do, and it may be your natural human instinct to apologize just because somebody was hurt and you feel bad. But legally speaking, it may not be the smartest thing for you to do. So if you're in an accident, my advice is don't apologize, don't admit anything, especially when you're talking to the other person's insurance company. It's always good to speak to a lawyer. Personal injury lawyers don't charge for consultations. They only get paid on if they take the case and they win. If it's a criminal matter, definitely do not say anything, because that will be used against you. Always invoke your Fifth Amendment rights. Ask for a lawyer if you're being arrested. If you're being questioned, ask the cops, am I being arrested or am I free to go? If they say you're free to go, shut up and go. If they say you're being arrested, tell them I invoke my Fifth Amendment right and I would like to speak to a lawyer, and don't say anything. So when I was a kid, I had a friend who had a button. It was my friend Digger. He was my best friend in 7th grade, and he's still one of my best friends. And he had a button in his room that said, even a fish can't get caught if he keeps his mouth shut. Think about that. Even a fish can't get caught if he keeps his mouth shut. And I always loved that button. I don't know whatever happened to the button, but I will ask him. But maybe I'm going to get some t-shirts made up or something, because it's true. Even a fish can't get caught if he keeps his mouth shut. So keep your mouth shut. Don't get caught. If you like this video, check out the other videos on my YouTube channel, and I will see you there.